Well now. Oh my God. I am the stupid. If you can believe it, I've been saying hello to everyone for the last 3 minutes, but my mute was mic'd. I haven't even started drinking yet, guys. Boy, oh boy, I wish I could have a do-over on this one, but I'm already here and so are you, so the show must go on. I will try to recreate this, what I've already done. I gotta have a checklist. You would think by now I would have this down, but nope, I gotta have a checklist. Check to make your mic is not muted there, scribe. Okay, let me start from the top, everyone, since you didn't hear me at all. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show in which I frequently make mistakes that I have only myself to blame for, like watching TEDx videos willingly. Let's start over, shall we? Those of you who have donated before the stream actually began, thank you, Point Curation. That feeling one. To be fair, Revenge of the Nerds had the cams, maybe toxic. Yeah, there were a lot of things about Revenge of the Nerds that you could not get away with these days in a Hollywood movie that you could back in the 80s. Thank you. This is Kyle. Hello, chat people and scribbles. Thank you so much, Kyle. Cryptic, thank you so much. Hello, the stupid. Yes, I am the stupid. Okay, guys. I'm going to start over with the hellos because I really don't want to do the hellos. I want to give you guys the attention you deserve and the appreciation that I feel for you. That might sound a little weird, but it's true. So here we go again. Richo8181, hello. Nothing for you here. Hello. The One Ton Hammer, hello. Point Curation, of course, hello. Old Guy Gamer, hello. New Fate 26, hello. The Dead Kaiser, hello. John Miller, hello. Evil One, hello. Attack Alpaca, hello. Jesse Green 619, Jesse Green 619, hello. Robbie Schroeder, hello. Atheist Icon, hello. The Demon Man 57, hello. Ducky, hello. Havoc Vladimirovich Stalinov, hello. Roger Reynolds, hello. Emperor WR Costin, hello. Prosaic Dreams in Blue, hello. Next, Eric Grinstadter, hello. Mutes Proots, hello. Cannibalistic Wizard, hello. Kiefer Dan, hello. That One Servant of Satania, hello. Spittle Buggies, hello. Nicholas Daly, hello. The Luke Skywalker 2, hello. Becca Fairley, hello. Ryan Rawlings, hello. John Smith, hello. Woodcutta, hello. Samuel Nation, hello. Miss Slim 1, hello. Anybody I haven't said hi to out of that? Loki Lycan, hello. Virgil Grin, hello. Dr. Plague, hello. Boy, oh boy, Dr. Plague. Probably really popular guy right now. Irate Prostate, hello. As the chat jumps again. Oh boy, almost there, guys. Shady Grin, hello. Corey Suzuki, hello. First name, last name, hello. I might have to truncate this at some point. Ultranaut, hello. And I think that's it. Okay. So, now that I have done the opening to this show twice, the second time around was totally better. I promise you, you didn't hear the first one. It sucked. It totally sucked. I needed the practice. That's what I'm going to tell myself. Okay. Anyway, guys, the official title of this presentation from our friends at TEDx is Battling the Toxic Male Nerd Culture. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? Well, I know I'm prepared for war. I don't know about you, but let's begin. So as usual, ironic, isn't it? I'm going to play the first couple seconds to see if you guys can hear it, because I'd hate it if you came to the show and couldn't hear me. That would be bad. All right, here we go. All right, did you hear the applause? Tell me that you heard the applause, and we shall move on. Oh, Pepperjack. You my only friend. Evil One heard it. Attack Alpaca heard it. Ryan Rollins heard it. Yep, all right. So here we go. Katie Chalk. I have no idea who she is. Maybe she'll tell us.
It was 2016.
Yeah, when time began. Is this going to be Trump? Oh, man, we're not even 10 seconds into this. Are we going to start off with Trump? Because as Satsu says, all time was erased and then 2016 happened.
I was at Denver Comic-Con, now known as Denver Pop Culture Con.
Why? Why did they change the name from Comic-Con to Culture Con? That doesn't have nearly the same kind of ring to it. What, was someone offended that comics weren't inclusive enough or something?
I was standing in line to meet John Rhys Davis. For those who don't know who he is, he plays Saul in Indiana Jones and also Gimli in Lord of the Rings.
He also played Professor... Oh, God. Well, anyway, in Sliders. Which, Sala and Sliders are probably what I knew him better as when I was growing up until Lord of the Rings came out. What was his professor name? Oh, God. Somebody in the chat will tell me.
Now, it's the middle of summer as well, and I'm in a crowded convention center, so I'm wearing a tank top that's showing off the tattoo on my back.
Really? Okay, it's not the worst. But where on your back? If that is a rebellion tramp stamp, I don't know.
Behind me a further bit, I can hear these two guys going, "Oh, wow, Rebel Scum, that looks so cool, oh my gosh." And my curiosity got piqued because I don't know if they're talking about me.
You just happen to have a tattoo on your back that says Rebel Scum, and you don't know if they're talking about you. Well, at a comic book convention, I guess it's possible, but thank you, Cryptic. It's Denver. It's the Detroit of Colorado. Ooh, is it? Some emulation says Professor Arturo. Yes. Was that his first name or his last name? Was it just Professor Arturo? I thought it was something else. Maybe there are a lot of sci-fi shows out there with comical professors like Fringe and the like. So maybe I'm just thinking elsewise.
Or another person with Star Wars paraphernalia in the crowd. So I turn around and I see two guys staring directly at me. And one of them just goes, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I was just checking out your tattoo. We thought it was really cool, and we just wanted to tell you that we think it's awesome."
Okay, now the only reason I'm pausing is because, when we hear these opening anecdotal stories from TEDx speakers, and this has happened many, many, many times, even before I started doing the live streams, I always have to do two things with their anecdote. One, I have to take it on its face value because I don't have any other evidence to the contrary. The other thing I have to do is I have to then take that anecdote and set it aside, everything they proceed with in their presentation, because if that is their premier example of whatever their topic is, then that's the standard. Does their own story match up or make sense with the points as they proceed? And of course, the last thing is, do I believe the story is true? That's less important necessarily, unless I'm trying to figure out the credibility of the speaker for my own benefit. But polite guys at a comic book convention wanting to explain themselves so they don't piss off a girl, I could believe that.
And my response was, "Oh, no problem. Thank you so much. Thanks for the compliment. I'm glad you guys think it's awesome." And then the other guy goes ahead and says, "Does your boyfriend call you Rebel Scum while you guys are doing it in bed?"
Well, two ways to look at that. Either she's completely making it up, or presumably somewhat socially awkward nerd guy is doing what guys do with fellow nerds in making light of something and looking for camaraderie. I don't know. That sounds like something that I would say to one of my friends if we were talking nerd stuff. That there's a sense of community there, that maybe there's some things that can be joked about and not taken offense by. But I have a feeling that our speaker chose to take offense.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I think I'm gonna die. Well, that was exciting.
Who says that?
Awkward, socially insulated nerds. And also probably girls behind your back. Literally, but not in that context, if you know what I mean.
So I went ahead and I knew it was a trap. I knew he was trying to see if I was single or not.
You knew it was a trap, you say. There's some offense to be taken there by somebody.
So my response was, my husband, and I turned around.
Ooh, sick burn. Not my boyfriend, my husband. I'm way more legit than that. I actually have a ring on it, yo. I am decidedly energized today. I think the embarrassment of the beginning of this stream has put a spike of energy in me for some reason.
Unfortunately, this is not uncommon for women in the nerd culture.
Wait. It was a joke said to someone in line at a comic book convention to see an actor where everybody there feels like it's a sense of community. If you can't take a joke, lady, in a comic book a pop culture convention, I think the problem might be with you. I just a theory.
It's a form of gatekeeping. And gatekeeping is those who determine who can or cannot be a part of the community.
Oh, wait. Okay, now this is legitimate energy going into my voice here. He was attempting, however awkwardly, and perhaps inappropriately, I don't know, but he was attempting to make you a part of the community, to assume a kinship with you where such a joke could be said without there being any kind of major social consequence. Okay, that's how guys operate in bringing other guys into the circle, so to speak, or testing their mettle or whatever. But also, you're all there for similar reasons, presumably. It's a more comfortable atmosphere where people can be like that, where they can make jokes like that. They weren't gatekeeping, my dear. Okay, I know I'm not a mind reader that can go into the past and events I wasn't present for, but I am going to say, in my wisdom of wisdoms, that in fact, they were attempting to open the gates to include you in on the joke because they thought you were cool. Is it so difficult to believe that someone who thought you were cool would be cool with such a joke? Is it?
In this case, it's the nerd community. It happens in social media and it happens in real life.
They thought your tattoo was cool and they're gatekeeping you. They compliment you on your fandom and they are gatekeeping you at a comic book convention. Really?
And it comes in many forms, but the more common forms that I have seen is that women in a nerdy environment are just there to get a boyfriend, or that we're there to get hit on.
A comic book convention is a social event now. It wasn't as much a social event when I was going to them when I was a kid, but they're far more a social event now. Like minds, right? A common interest. A collection of people who share a common interest, male, female, whatever. And no one's going to be hit on. Nobody's going to be infatuated. Nobody's going to make jokes. And besides which, wasn't his comment already sort of acknowledging the possibility that you were already in a relationship? So was he really hitting on you, or was he just making a joke? Again, like I was saying before, their initial anecdotal story is the metric by which I measure everything else they say after this. Because if that is their premier example of the problem that they're saying needs to be solved, I have to put that up against every point they make thereafter and whether or not it makes sense.
That women do not belong in the nerd community, so we need to push them out.
Yeah, your tattoo's really cool. That means get the hell out of here.
When we're in a nerdy environment, we have no idea what we're doing or why we're there.
A nerdy environment? No. You either are a nerd or you're not. And if you're in a place where there are a lot of nerds, well, congratulations. You're amongst a bunch of nerds in a nerdy environment. I don't know, that phrase just sounds bizarre to me.
And lastly, that we need to prove ourselves.
You didn't need to prove anything. You had a tattoo of rebel scum on your back. There's few things in life that broadcast dedication to a particular genre or a particular IP or a particular whatever than getting a permanent marker on your skin. Those guys did not need proof of your dedication to a particular fandom or nerddom. They saw it. They complimented it. I know we're only 2 minutes into this talk, guys, but this lady, every time she says something or makes some kind of claim, it is just hitting me right in the chest. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean.
When toxic men try to push us out of the nerd community, it can look really ugly. Take example, Kelly Marie Tran, who plays Rose Tico in the movie Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Oh, God, really? Okay.
Now, a lot of nerd fanboys did not like this movie and did not like her character.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie was weak. The characters were badly rendered and written. How much of that had to do with the actress and how much of that had to do with the character as presented? I'm very curious to know.
But instead of just letting it go, they went ahead and flooded her Instagram account with just sexual and racist comments and just plain out bullied her.
Like what? Are you going to show us examples?
And it got so much to the point that she had to take down her Instagram account.
She didn't have to do anything. She chose to. They are words on a screen. Short of there being credible death threats or some other kinds of illegal activity, it's words on a screen.
She brought it back up.
Oh, she brought it back up. Oh, well, then I guess no harm, no foul.
But at no point was it necessary for that to even happen.
You're right. It was not necessary for it to happen. She chose to do it. And then she chose to bring it back. And somehow the world kept turning. Thank you, Hawkidus Maximus. The movie was bad and Rose was a wasted character. Kelly did fine as the role, but the role was trash. Also, the bullying was overreported. Yeah, I mean, when I went to see the movie, I saw it in the theaters, and when she was first introduced, when she like tasered Finn, I laughed because I thought that was really funny, and I didn't know where this character was going. But by the time we got to the end of the movie, the character made no sense, did ridiculous things, and was an empty vessel. There's nothing there. You know, let's free the llamas. Let's leave the slave children. Let me just completely try to suicide myself into Finn's ship to prevent him from saving the rebellion or the resistance, whatever. Yeah, the character was badly written, badly evolved, if you want to call it that. The actress had nothing to do with that. She was there to do a job. So Rose Tico is a lousy character. Kelly Marie Tran, as far as I can tell, is a decent actress. These are two different things. If you cannot tell the difference between these two criticisms, the problem might be with you.
Brie Larson, who plays Captain Marvel in the movie Captain Marvel.
Oh, no.
Had some photos released for a promotional to show off that the movie was coming out and to get people hyped up. For the most part, she just looks really stoic, and she's just in clips of her just doing regular day stuff or about ready to kick some butt.
Except that she has an exceedingly wooden performance. There's nothing fun about her portrayal of that character. It's very flat-faced. You say stoic. Okay. If the character was meant to be stoic, maybe, but the movie wasn't fun. The character was not fun. She had a flat disposition the entire time. And that's on the actress. Oh, I mean, it could be on the direction. I suppose the director said, hey, you know, Brie, we need you to tone down that enthusiasm a bit. You need to be more serious. You need to be more stoic, you know, like a man would be. Maybe. I don't know. Thank you, first name, last name. She left because she got tired of people knowing where she was, straight from the horse's mouth. Oh, was that her explanation? I don't know. I didn't follow the Kelly Marie Tran drama. Of course, either our speaker didn't either, or didn't care to do any research, or knows the truth and doesn't care to tell us.
But a lot of nerdy fanboys did not think that she looked pretty enough. So they went ahead and photoshopped a smile onto her face and claimed that they fixed her.
Yeah, because God forbid that your superheroes look like they're enjoying themselves and aren't dour, flat, unhappy, boring, mean people. I mean, what's wrong with complaining about a complete lack of charm? Like, you want to show off this character. You want to go to a movie to have fun, and not even the main character looks like they're having any fun. And not just necessarily in the moments where it's serious. You know, Captain America, Steve Rogers, he wasn't smiling the whole time. You know, when he's chasing down Nazis and everything else, yeah, he's got a very serious face. But there was a showcase of his charm, of him being relatable and a human and not a robot. And when that first trailer came out, and you're like, and this is just me, but when I saw that first trailer, I was kind of like, that's their best showing of how they want to get people to this movie? I mean, I'm not even enthusiastic about the superhero, and it's a superhero movie. So, anyway.
Now, when men think that women have no idea what they're doing in a nerdy environment, I commonly see this in a comic book store.
They complimented your tattoo. They thought it was cool. You were a girl in a nerdy environment. And they complimented your dedication and your tattoo in a nerdy environment. They joked with you, again, perhaps in an awkward way, but it was not an action done to marginalize you or kick you out or gatekeep you. And yet you keep bringing up the notion that somehow you were a victim in that situation. You were not. They were trying to bring you in and thought of you as part of the gang. Thank you, Hawkins Maximus. She keeps saying fanboys, women weren't happy either. Also, Brie was trash off screen, and she looks bored half the time on screen. Yeah, did you see her attitude in the junkets with her co-stars? Did you see her co-stars' reaction to her during those junkets? You know, that doesn't have anything to do with her performance in the film necessarily, but hey, you know, if the actress doesn't know how to have fun, or is portraying this character as someone who is not approachable or relatable, and yet that's what they want to advertise with, well, Marvel thought that was a good sell, and it wasn't to a lot of people. So there you go. And as we know, men in movies portraying characters never get any criticism or critique at all. It never happens. There aren't entire careers built around this. Siskel and Ebert and so on. No, never happens.
I've experienced, witnessed, and heard stories of when women go into comic book shops, the clerks go right up to us going, "Are you shopping for your boyfriend today?"
Oh, yeah, I you know what? I totes believe that. You know, every comic book shop I've ever gone into, whenever a woman walked in, the first thing they said, "Are you shopping for your boyfriend?" Yeah, that's how you gain a customer base. Okay, that is an X to doubt situation right there. I doubt it, especially these days. If you're talking about in the 70s or something, or the early 80s, maybe. But since comic books have become so mainstream, since the MCU and elsewise have become so popular that everybody and their brother and sister are involved in it, doubt it. Big X to doubt.
Or that they look at us going like, "That's a girl there. Does she have any idea where she is? Look at that silly girl being in a comic book shop."
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they say. And you're a mind reader, I'm sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are nerds out there. Back in my day, yeah, girls getting involved in this thing, that's weird. Sure. But these days, come on. Nerd guys are over the moon to find girls interested in what they are interested in. God forbid they have an opportunity to socialize with someone who might share their interests. Yeah, they're totally hating on girls getting involved in this. Yeah, totally.
I unfortunately witnessed my friend ask a comic book clerk about a tiny little Star Trek communicator model and what this model did. Instead of telling her what this little model did, he decided to mansplain what the communicator's purpose and function was in the show, rather than just telling her what this thing does on the shelf.
Do you even recognize the ambiguity of your friend's question to the clerk? I mean, again, this is just like I was talking about before about the opening anecdote. If I am to believe the story as you have relayed it, she asked the clerk, "What does this do?" Right? Okay. Without further context or clarification, this guy might not have any idea what you're asking. And so he goes to the mat and to the lowest common denominator of knowledge and maybe geeks out a bit because, well, maybe he's a Star Trek fan. And you call it mansplaining. I mean, are you a nerd or aren't you? Do you understand nerd culture or don't you? Nerds love showing off their knowledge of something, especially if you have an open-ended question like that. What does this do? Or what is that for? I mean, again, I'm taking her at her word when she relays these stories in detail. Friend says, "What does that do?" I don't know what else to say. She's complaining about nerd culture operating like nerd culture. So I gotta wonder, is your tattoo a reflection of your love for a fandom? Or is it some kind of grand virtue signal that has nothing behind it? I don't know. Thank you, Cryptic. She's never been in a comic book store. I don't believe, well, okay, I could believe this story, but her characterizing it as something derogatory or insulting, given what she's told us of the facts of the matter, is BS. Thank you, DeckWow. Doesn't that basically mean that this entire presentation qualifies as woman-splaining? I mean, we'll see where this ends up. I've been surprised in the past by where some things have turned, but we'll see.
It's really frustrating because I really love Star Wars. I love Star Wars so much. I have so much Star Wars stuff just laying around.
I really hope you're not suddenly confusing Star Trek and Star Wars, because you moved from that first anecdote to that declaration really quick.
But that doesn't mean I remember everything that happens in the movies or the entire extended universe.
Well, that is you, isn't it? You're one kind of fan of Star Wars. There are other fans out there who are walking encyclopedias of trivia, who love talking about what they are passionate about. That is you. That is not everybody else.
And the extended universe is just the entire history of Star Wars itself, and it's comprised in many books, comics, other media forms like video games, but I don't have time to get through all of that.
I had time to get through, not all of it, but a lot of it in the 90s. The Timothy Zahn trilogy at the beginning, Heir to the Empire, etc., that basically rebooted the entire fandom for Star Wars, and so many books thereafter. The video games, the comic books, the fan films. Gosh, there is just a library of fan films out there. Some that are, for the time, exceedingly quality. Some that are just like cheap little things people did. Two guys with lightsabers in the woods. That's kind of how a lot of fan films went. I was a big Star Wars fan. Extended universe up the wazoo. Now, did I collect every novel? Did I love everything? No. But I had a lot of it. I know a lot of it. And it's all been voided by Disney as no longer canonical, even though they keep going to the well not enough in the cinematic sector of things, but they keep going to the well for the extended universe and the cartoons and so on. But that, again, my level of fandom or obsession is mine. That's what makes it unique to me. And I can respect someone who knows way more than I do. And I actually enjoy finding someone who is a fan who isn't as knowledgeable as I am, who's curious about something and has a question or a curiosity that I can answer because I do know. That's how nerds work. I'm not sure our speaker knows how nerds work. Thank you again, Hocketus Maximus. Thank you again, Hocketus Maximus. She is sounding a bit dismissive of something she loves. I get it. Not everyone is a lore junkie like me, but she doesn't sound that into it. Well, it's not just that. It's that she cannot fathom or respect the possibility that there are fans out there more dedicated than she. And that somehow that's a bad thing or something. That's the part I don't get. I appreciate the fandom because I'm a part of it. Because I've put a lot of time and years and interest and enthusiasm into the subject. I know a lot of stuff. Do I know as much now as I did back then? Well, since they reset the entire universe, probably not. My knowledge is archaic in relative terms, but I still remember it. And I can still appreciate someone who's passionate about it, even if they're more so than I am. I mean, there's always people who are passionate to an unhealthy degree, and I worry about them, but that's beside the point. Apparently, this lady thinks if everyone isn't exactly as passionate or interested as she is in something, somehow they're doing it wrong. And that's not how it works.
But when I say I like Star Wars, I get a bunch of trivia questions thrown at me. To prove some sort of test, I need to pass that I'm a true Star Wars nerd fan.
That's BS. That is BS. Someone being glad to be able to inform you of something you don't know, or asking you a question because they want to see if you're as involved as they are. Can they relate to you? It's not a test meant to exclude. It's finding out, do I have something in common with this person? If somebody comes up and says, I'm really interested in hydroelectric dams, right? And then I'm talking to a hydroelectric dam engineer, and he says, not a dam engineer, but you know what I mean. And he says, oh, really? Well, what do you think of the turbines in the Grand Coulee Dam? Is that a test? Or is that someone trying to relate to you? You feel offended by someone trying to bring you in? I think you're missing the point. I think you're taking opportunities of people trying to make you feel welcome or trying to relate to you as somehow, I don't know, judging you negatively. It's bizarre.
Most men do not have to prove that they're a nerd.
You're right. You can just look at them and tell because they have Star Wars tattoos on their backs or something.
But women have to.
Is that why you got the tattoo? Is that why you got the tattoo, to proclaim loud and proud that you're a Star Wars fan so you didn't have to explain it to anybody? I'm curious. I mean, something must have inspired you to get something permanently written onto your skin. Thank you, Shady Grin. This woman does social worse than me. It's like looking at a reverse universe, the mirror universe, to bring up a Star Trek term. Everything that could be taken probably more accurately one way goes through a filter in her mind where suddenly she's being challenged. She's being denigrated. She's being marginalized. When probably honest and admittedly perhaps awkward efforts to get to know her, to bring her in, to feel on par with her, are somehow now challenges to her authenticity. It's got to be an amazing way to walk through life as a self-proclaimed nerd.
Yeah. Regardless of it being Star Wars or not, you do not have to know everything there is about a certain nerd fandom in order to say that you like it.
You know, this sounds like you're trying to explain to people why you feel out of place amongst more hardcore nerds. Trying to justify yourself because you feel inadequate or something. You don't have to feel inadequate. The nerds already feel inadequate. In fact, the guys that know more about something than you probably feel even more inadequate because, well, their lives are revolving around this thing that's very niche, very specialized, and not many people can be on the same level with them just because of their obsession and their passion. Okay, your experience is not everyone else's. You don't have to feel bad because you don't know as much about Star Wars as somebody else. At the same time, you should not look down upon people who know more and are more passionate about it than you are. That's not a bad thing. They are looking for connection. They are looking for friends. They're not trying to make you feel bad. Why can you not understand that?
If you like Marvel, DC, TV like Voltron, Pokemon, whatever nerd fandom it is, you can be as cool or as hardcore as you want.
That is true. That is very true. And if people make fun of you for not knowing enough about something or for knowing too much about something, making fun of you in a way that is not meant as just, camaraderie ribbing, but meant to make you feel bad, tell you what, you don't need to hang out with those people.
So my question to these toxic male nerds is, why?
Why are they toxic? Toxic how? You have interpreted everything that you have brought up so far that could easily be interpreted as the exact opposite. You have chosen to take their comments, actions, passions, etc., and turn it into something that is targeting you, that is demeaning you. When it's all about the subject matter, when it's all about the fandom, but somehow it comes back to you. You are doing that.
Why do I get pushed out?
You're not being pushed out. They complimented your tattoo. They were excited to see a girl as passionate about their chosen passion as they were. Passionate enough to get a tattoo. That says something, or don't understand that.
Why do you feel like I don't know what I'm doing when I'm in a nerdy environment?
None of the examples you've brought up so far is an assumption of you not knowing something. A girl asking an ambiguous question to another guy, what does that do, without any other context? And he goes into a history of the communicator from Star Trek. That's not assuming anything. That's him taking her question at face value. Trying to inform her, wanting to help her. In fact, probably trying to bring her into the fandom in a small way. Not gatekeeping, being welcoming. I know I keep pausing this, but every time that she makes a statement or some kind of conclusion or point, it is so antithetical to the examples that she has brought up so far. It is so antithetical to what I know about growing up as a nerd. Oy. Thank you, Cryptic. Nobody cares. Get over yourself. I'm getting there. Oh, you're not talking about me? Or are you talking about me? Oh, I don't know.
And I'm just one voice in all of this. I'm just a white, cis, straight female. But there are hundreds of women who have a voice in this as well.
What does your race or sexual orientation or self-image have to do with any of this? Now you're denigrating yourself. Right? Those elements of your makeup somehow cheapen your perspective. Again, I am always curious how people move through the world with thoughts like this informing everything they encounter and every experience they have. It must be a terrible, terrible way to live.
And we need to listen to them, especially those with women of color and those in the LGBTQ plus community.
Why? What does any of that have to do with how passionate someone is about a particular nerdery? Why? I hope she explains, because I am curious to know how we got to this point in the conversation.
And now there are several ways where you can help out. Number one, support your girls.
Because girls need support. They can't do it on their own, guys. And that's totally not sexism. That's feminism.
Support your girls. Whether it's you're buying from your favorite artist, author, podcaster, whatever creative media outlet is. If you're
Well, what if my favorite podcast artist, etc., what if it's not a girl? I mean, it's not necessarily my favorite because of their gender. It's my favorite because of their output. What then?
supporting a business like Ariel Johnson, a Black woman who owns a comic book shop, go support the business.
Because she's Black and female? Well, how good is her business? I've never heard of her. Does she have a good store? Does she maintain a good supply? Does she have good customer service? I mean, is there anything of merit you're going to bring up about any of this? Or is it just because they have a vagina, give them attention? Because otherwise, they don't know how to operate unless you support them because they have a vagina. If you're going to reduce all three of those people on the screen down to nothing more than help them because they're women, support them because they're women, that says a heck of a lot more about you and how you perceive women than it does anything else. Thank you, tall person. Just got home from work and I will watch this in full later. Happy National Pineapple Upside Down Cake Day, everybody. Really? There's a day for that? And thank you, Hawkitus Maximus. I do support girls. I play Sisters of Battle. And also, tall person, in case you're still listening, skip through the first 2 or 3 minutes of the stream where there's complete silence because I accidentally left my mic muted. Please forgive me.
Go watch the movies that have women in them. They don't have to be the main role, but Tessa Thompson kills it as Valkyrie in Thor.
Again, why can't I appreciate an individual's merits? Why do I have to reduce them down to the lowest common denominator? Why? Why are you demanding that of me? Thank you. This is Kyle. Sorry, Scribe, I can't support you anymore. You might be one of my favorite content creators, but unfortunately, you're not a woman. It's true. It's true. I am not worthy of your attention, your support, any of it. No, I'm not. I can't help it. I am marked with the indelible stain of my chromosomes, and forever will I be wretched as compared to the obvious needing of support demographic that is females, because they can't do it on their own, everyone. They really can't without your help. Only 8 cents a day. No, sorry, that was something else.
Yeah.
Oh, Tail features in the chat. Fasker me. And yet I have to ask Tailed, Carson?
I love her so much.
Good for you. I'm glad you're excited about someone. Do you love her because she's a good actress or just because she's a female? This is the question I have to legitimately ask of you now, because you've shown just how reductionist your opinion is of people.
And she identifies as liking both male and female.
What? Wait, I got to back up. I didn't quite catch that. Sorry, guys.
Liking both male.
No, wait, that's not far enough back.
And she identifies as liking both male and female.
She identifies as liking both male and female, so she's bisexual. So what?
And now you don't have to buy something in order to show your support for someone. Like my friend Melina, she kills it as cosplaying as Wonder Woman every time. I love seeing her being Wonder Woman because she's just happy to be the superhero she identifies with the most.
And can we give her credit for the amount of time, effort, and craftsmanship that cosplay requires? Are you going to compliment? I mean, I don't know what she's going to say next. Okay, maybe she will. But aside from being a woman, could you compliment the artistry that is required to pull off a quality cosplay? I have had friends who are brilliant artists with fabric and decorations and recreating things from fiction in just ways that I could never do. Well, maybe not never do, but I mean, I don't have the patience for or the vision to accomplish. And regardless of what they look like, regardless of their genitalia, that kind of dedication and or skill is something to behold. Now, please, aside from the fact that your friend is female, at least compliment her artistry in pulling off a Wonder Woman costume. Please.
And you can leave a person a compliment online or in real life.
Okay.
Number 2, if you see something, please say something.
If you see something, say something as determined by my view of the world on what is and is not proper behavior. Or am I missing something that I should have taken from your opening anecdote?
I know on social media it can be hard because it's like talking to a wall that's yelling back at you.
Yeah, it's almost like yelling on social media is like yelling into the wind most times. You know, you're not going to change many minds that don't want to be changed. So, words on a screen. I mean, for all intents and purposes, short of something illegal going on, words on a screen. That's all it is.
But all you have to do is just call them out on their words.
Boyish lesbian reimagines She-Ra as a boyish lesbian. The utter selfishness and egotism of this is astounding. I can understand it. I mean, you make a androgynous character out of a classically feminine hero. Why reduce the femininity? I've never quite understood that about the She-Ra thing. If you're trying to show strong female characters, why actively reduce the femininity? What's wrong with being feminine and a interesting character? Why make a female character look more like a man if the entire purpose is to show a strong female character? Now, as far as like boyish lesbian, I don't know about that. If it's just the length of her hair, I mean, that doesn't bother me as far as like calling it boyish. I've seen plenty of women with short hair that aren't boyish, but I don't know. I don't know anything about the artist, but the product itself, I have to wonder. It's like, what was the point? How is that somehow showing female empowerment by creating a long-haired male? Thank you, Hawkins Maximus. Now, She-Ra isn't all that bad, but their promo art was utter trash. I was amazed how bad it was once I saw the transformation scene. Okay, admittedly, I've never watched She-Ra or the new She-Ra, so I don't know. The promotional material is all I have to go on, and I'm using her example on its face. So those are my comments on that. Elsewise, not only does Outer Worlds look like a terrible game, but every single female character looks like this. I've seen a couple of playthroughs of the Outer Worlds, and yeah, a lot of the female characters are very... I mean, admittedly, not every female character has to look like Jessica Rabbit or something. But there was a trend in that game, as shown in those screenshots, of making semi-androgynous female characters for whatever reason. And of course, you know, your mileage may vary on your personal tastes, I can't say whether it's a terrible game. I've never played it. I've watched some playthroughs. It doesn't really grab my attention, but yeah, I don't know. Again, and it's just somebody's opinion. Is that toxic? Do you take offense to that? Is it impossible to possibly see it from their angle if someone is a fan of the original She-Ra and seeing what's been done with it? I don't know.
And tell them that they're being rude and go
Rude. Oh, well, there's an indictment. You're being rude.
ahead and report them.
What? Report them for what? Report them for an opinion? Boy, oh boy, do you have any idea how nerds work when it comes to IPs that they appreciate? Or genres that they enjoy? Report them. Oh, okay. All right. I hope you never run into a situation where your opinion differs with someone else's and they decide to report you for it.
But if you see something in real life, please do not be afraid to step in.
Okay, give me an example of what you mean. Okay, because sure, there are situations where stepping in might be justified. But if the examples you've brought up so far, someone complimenting your tattoo and making an awkward comment, someone informing someone about something for which they asked a completely ambiguous question, if those are the situations that require a step in, your standards are very bizarre to me.
Now, if you're at a convention and you see some woman being harassed by a guy, and no matter what she's doing, he's just not taking the hint, step in. Tell him that he is being rude and that he needs to go away.
Okay, I would be curious to know what your standard is for quote-unquote harassment. I mean, if somebody's being physically assaulted, if someone looks like they are uncomfortable, etc., and someone's like, hounding them or something else, sure. I mean, hopefully con staff would be all over that. But again, harassment has become such a nebulous concept these days. I would need more information or examples of what you mean.
And find convention staff.
Yeah, find convention staff. I mean, don't go vigilante on it necessarily, depending on the circumstances.
They're there to help.
Yes. Yes, go through an intermediary because maybe your interpretation of the situation is wrong or overly ideological.
3, find a safe space.
Oh, God. You know what? Conventions are supposed to be a safe space, generally speaking. It doesn't matter what the subject matter is. You go to a place where there's a gathering of people who have a passion for a particular subject matter or genre or whatever else. It's safer. People feel more comfortable there, which is why that guy made that joke to you in the beginning.
Find a place that makes you feel accepted and wanted.
Like a comic book convention?
If you don't have that, then make your own.
Like a comic book convention?
Lastly, fight back. Remember how I talked about Brie Larson got photoshopped with a smile on her face?
Oh, no. Really? Really? Okay. Boy, you sure showed us.
She went ahead and photoshopped her male counterparts with a smile on their face.
Wow, yeah, applause line, guys. Wow, that showed them, because none of those characters in the course of their films exuded any kind of charm or humor or laughter or sense of adventure at any point in the course of any of those movies, ever. They needed the extra enhancement of photoshopped smiles because they totally were not smiling or enjoying themselves or somehow showing off that they were fun characters in the course of any of those 3 films. Okay. Wow, boy, you sure showed us.
They're glorious.
She's just showing off how much she doesn't appreciate nerddom. She really is. She's showing off how she doesn't appreciate or can respect or can extend some kind of empathy to someone who is a nerd about something that maybe she has no interest in. You know, I know nothing about anime. I can't claim to know much about anime. I've watched some series. I appreciate some things. I watched all of Trigun in college, but I can't say that I'm some kind of expert or some kind of fan. I appreciate some aspects of it. Now, my co-host on Lords of the Night, Satsu, he is an anime freakazoid. And I might not know much about what he talks about sometimes when it comes up with anime and My Hero Academia and One Piece and all these other things that I only know of sort of referentially. But I respect and I appreciate the fact that he's passionate about those things. And I don't necessarily mock it. And if I do, it's completely done in a camaraderie way. And I don't know if camaraderie is an actual word, but I'm saying it because you know what I mean. I can appreciate people who are passionate about something that I have no knowledge of or interest in, because I am passionate about things that are niche. I know a lot about a lot of different weird things that a lot of people don't know about. And I can at least feel a sense of kinship with someone who's passionate about something that I have no idea about. This lady seems to be vilifying anyone who is passionate about something that happens to go against her personal grain. And it's really discouraging, especially since you have an entire audience clapping at it.
And what they did, her counterparts did not get mad. They did not fight back.
Yeah, because they could take a joke. Please don't tell me that by saying that, you're somehow proving the point.
They went ahead and supported her and laughed with her because they know that when a guy looks stoic being a superhero, it looks positive. But
did you notice that most of the pictures they showed of Brie Larson were from the trailer, from the actual film itself, from her performance in the film? Did you notice that part at all?
But when a woman does, it's clearly met with negativity. The last one, keep doing what you love to do.
No, you're telling me that I'm not allowed to do what I love to do. Like, be really obsessive about communicators in Star Trek. Because showing off that knowledge, trying to bring somebody into the fandom, oh, that's bad. You just told us that.
No matter what it is, if you're still being casual nerd or really hardcore, keep doing what you love to do.
Okay, now that sentiment on its own, sure. You can go as extreme or as casual as you want in something. That's fine. Some people might be more, I don't know, gatekeeper about it than others. I'm not saying there aren't nerds out there or jerks who want to like test you for your legitimacy or something, but I'll tell you what, I've had that happen to me from other guys, and I'm a guy. It's just a tribal instinct. It's not inherently sexist.
If you love to, read comics, play video games, if you love to cosplay, keep doing it. Because I certainly do. I'm not going to let anyone stop me.
And who is stopping you? Pray tell, who in the nerd community is stopping you from dressing up in revealing or pretty costumes? Please do tell me who's stopping you.
And if you love to roleplay, keep roleplaying.
Oh, well, thank you for your permission. I'll continue to do so. I was doubting myself there, but now that you've given me the go-ahead, I'll continue to do so. And that picture there, man, that is some old school dungeon mapping right there. Holy cow.
My friends and I roleplay almost every weekend.
Do you roleplay feminists by any chance? Just wondering. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Is she losing breath while talking? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I would probably have a hard time keeping up a 10-minute long speech and walking around and trying to get everything out in time too. So, props to somebody willing to do public speaking like that. I don't know that I could do it. Oh, wait, I'm technically doing public speaking.
Almost every weekend. And we love it so much that we created our own role-playing system, and I'm creating dice for us to play with.
Wow. I've never been among men or women in my life in the role-playing community who have come up with their own system or their own mechanics, even an established game, because there are house rules. And sure, you know, if you come up with your own system and everything else, you've got a completely separate, new, and different mechanic, congratulations. You know, good for you. Now you're advertising your own products, though. And I understand that wasn't the gist of this talk, as far as I can tell, but okay, more power to you. I'd be curious to know how your mechanics work as compared to others. I've seen some good systems in my day. I've seen some bad systems. I'll have to check this out. And I'm not being facetious. I'm going to check it out.
It's so much fun. And it just blows a lot of men's conceptions in their minds that a group of all females created their own role-playing system and are writing a book about it.
You think very, very, very little of men, don't you? Yeah, wait for applause. Girl power, everybody. Yeah, woo-hoo.
But it's one of those things where it's met with some positive reception, where they are curious and want to know and ask us more questions. And sometimes it's met with negativity.
Okay, are you going to give us examples of what you mean by negativity? According to Keeverdam, she only has 5 Twitter followers. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if that's true, but okay. So what is this called? Stars in My Die, Katie Chalk. Role-playing book, Aloria. Okay. Like I say, I'd be curious to know what the custom mechanic is for that particular system. I'm not a systems guy. I'm far more a stories guy, but you can't avoid the systems. And between White Wolf and D20 and, geez, I don't know, ORE, the OR engine for, what do they call themselves now? Well, for Godlike and Wild Talents, or Call of Cthulhu, or whatever system they use for Dragon Age, that kind of stuff. I mean, I can't tell you how many systems I've been involved in life. So I'd be curious to know.
Again, us silly girls don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what you say. That's what you say. That is the notion and thought process you are projecting on everyone else, and you go into a room with a chip on your shoulder. That's what you say. I totally believe you.
But I don't really care. I'm going to get this book published someday.
Maniac Man 2030 says, I think the Dragon Age table uses D6s. Yeah, it does use D6s. It uses the dragon die. Like you roll 3 and one specified die plays some other role in the mechanics. I don't remember off the top of my head, but that's me not being an expert, more story than system. Thank you. This is Kyle. She's constantly talking about men's perception of women. What really needs to be addressed is her obviously negative perception of men. Yeah. I mean, it's this presumption that if it is a man saying or doing something, it's inherently to the detriment of women. Even in something as ambiguous as explaining what a communicator is, when asked, what does that do? That's I mean, of all the anecdotes she's put out so far, that's the one that just bewilders me the most. Somebody asks you an open-ended question like that, you do your best to explain and answer the question, and somehow that's demeaning. Boy, oh boy.
But we are all nerds. We are all passionate about whatever nerd fandom thing it is.
Can you respect that of others who are either lesser or more so than you are? Because, you know, you talk about gatekeeping, you talk about testing people on the basis of their nerdery. So far, you're the one holding other nerds to a standard of your choosing. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
So there is no reason to push women or anyone else out of the community.
You got a really cool tattoo. Translates to, get the hell out of my community. Right. Got it.
We should accept all those who want to be a part of the community and bring positive change to it.
You've got a really cool tattoo. I'm being negative to you right now. Thank you, Shady Grin. I wouldn't want this woman at my table, not because she is a woman, but because she's a victim in her own head, and nothing anybody does or says will change that perception. She will cause problems. I've been fortunate enough in most of the role-playing groups I've been in, there have been exceptions, where everybody is there and everybody's on the relatively same page when it comes to the setting or the game mechanics, the intention, and so on, of whether I'm doing a LARP or whether I'm doing a tabletop. Like I say, there have been exceptions, and those are the outliers. And you know real quick if somebody's going to be a problem player and has nothing to do with their genitals. Ask any DM, ask any GM, ask any keeper, and so on. Who makes up problem players? Is it dependent on genitals, or is it dependent on personal character? No pun intended, but I'll take it. You go ask some actual GMs, DMs, etc., and you give me an answer for that one.
And just feel accepted, because I'm a nerd and I'm proud.
Pride goeth before the fall. Okay. Well, guys, there you go. You've had more than my fair share of commentary. We're actually over the hour mark that I usually aim for with these things. I'll take a couple of minutes up to the 15-minute mark at the 45-minute mark of the hour. Okay, maybe the alcohol is getting to me now. See what you have to say otherwise. Let's see. Advocatus Diaboli. She has done nothing but talk about pushing people out. Yeah. She's talking about setting standards by which people have to behave in order to please her, while not seeming to appreciate that there are different kinds of nerds of different passion levels, and that not having the same level as someone else is not an accusation or an indictment against you inherently. It's just somebody else with a different level of interest. Thank you again, Hakatus Maximus. Every time I hear about this positive change crap they spew, it pretty much just turns into, you will do everything I say, bigot, and then they want to fundamentally change the thing in question. A lot of it has to do with vilifying the types of people that aren't like them and setting themselves as the gold standard by which everyone else must perform in order to be good or valuable or something. So I have a question for our speaker, if I ever had a chance to talk to her. Does she feel that her role-playing group is suitably inclusive enough to qualify as exemplifying her wishes and desires about the nerd community? I mean, all female, is that by design or just by chance? Are you actively marginalizing men? Color by any chance? Or is it just circumstance? I'd be curious to know. Check your logic. We're all nerds. I mean, I definitely look like one, but I'm not really interested in the stereotypical nerd content. Well, looks can be deceiving. Unless you're certain people in the world, I guess. Let's see. Giovanni Prince, always about the person and interaction with the other players. Yeah, about the individual. I mean, if you're a GM who's a misogynist and like, well, no girls are going to join our club, well, that says something about you. That doesn't say something about nerds. Hey, caramba. Asian hippie, she's the sort of person I would have in my guild, Scribelight. I wouldn't have in my guild, sorry. Well, with that kind of attitude, yeah, if she's going to be judgmental about everybody and everything for every comment or be policing everyone's reaction to something, yeah, I mean, what a drag. And that's not meant as a comment against drag queens, but like in the old colloquialism of drag, you know, a bummer, a downer, a killjoy. Let me put in some more words there to clarify myself, because that's the world we live in. Let's see. Alyssa doesn't lie. Scribebot, I'm looking to start making drawing videos. What kind of mic do you use to do voiceovers, if you don't mind? I have a Blue Yeti. It's relatively cheap. I think it was about $40 or so. I've heard more positive reviews about things like the Snowball microphone. The first mic I had when I started my channel, and with this mic as well, I get varying levels of quality on flat recordings. I can't say anything about live streams because I can't hear and edit the audio after the fact, or at least not without some difficulty. But yeah, I use a Blue Yeti. Look around for, so Blue Yeti or Snowball. Snowball, I think, is what Monkey uses, and it's got installed or like built-in compression and things. It sounds very professional right off the bat. I usually find I have to manipulate my recorded audio somewhat to take out the extraneous noise. I don't know that I've got even the settings on this correct to keep out background noise. Of course, it all also comes down to how much noise cancellation you have around your microphone. Oh, sorry, I was going a little bit nerd there for a second on YouTubing. I was obviously mansplaining. I apologize, Alyssa. You wanted a quick answer. I was trying to be informative and helpful. I'm terrible. Evil One says, Scribe said Snowball. Yes, I did. Have you ever read Animal Farm? I'm sure you can take something and do something with that as well. This is Kyle says, Blue Yeti works fine for me. Only problem is that Windows 10 always resets my audio levels. Actually, truth be told, I haven't looked at the control panel for audio levels. I don't know what happens behind the scenes. I end up just cleaning. When I record audio, I clean it by taking out the background noise, using an equalizer, and then boosting the compression somewhat. And then in my video editing software, after I put all of the audio files into the layout, then I normalize all of it. So conceivably, it's all technically at the same level. So you don't like experience some kind of audio drop or like out of character rise from point to point in the video between my commentary and the piece I'm critiquing. Oh, there I go again, showing off my nerdery. Sorry, everyone. Let's see. Alyssa doesn't lie. God, how dare you give me extremely useful information and be nice enough to excuse my irrelevant question. I am terrible. I am terrible. Let's see. This is Kyle. Skylar, what software do you use to edit with? I use Sony. Well, it's not Sony anymore. They sold the property. Anyway, I use Vegas 14. I think Vegas is at like version 16 or something by now, but I'm not doing anything highly professional. So for what I need it to do, Vegas 14 is beyond the moon adequate. It is pricey. That's the one thing I'll say. The one grand expense I've had in doing this so far has been buying the initial software to do editing. At the time that I bought it, it was about $400. And yeah, that is an investment. Not everybody can make that investment, and I don't necessarily recommend that you do. You can get a trial version of Vegas if they're still doing it, as far as I know. You get 30 days of the trial version. If you register, it gives you an extra 30 days if they still have that policy going. Again, I'm looking back 3 years in the past to when I did it. So conceivably, you could have 2 months of using Vegas without having to pay anything, and then just going to town. Sometimes, and here's the thing, look out and be on the lookout for Vegas in humble bundles. There have been plenty of times now where somebody's pointed out to me and says, hey, Scribe, Vegas 15 is on sale in a humble bundle, and the whole humble bundle is like $20. And man, if that had been available when I did it, when I started out, I would be all over it. Vegas is great. If you just needed to do basic editing, basic manipulation of video, if you're not, I mean, there are professional level options in this thing that I don't even touch because I don't need to. But if you can get a copy of Vegas, whatever the version. And here's the other thing too, that's really helpful. Anything you don't know how to do in Vegas, there is a YouTube tutorial. Like, how do I use green screen in Vegas? There's a 5-minute video out there that says, here are the things you click on to make that work. I've never been without help in using Vegas and doing my editing. So that is what I use. And if you're looking to use Vegas, that's my advice on what to look for if you're not willing to plop down $200, $300, $400 for it. But after all of that, Tail Future says, I got Vegas for $20. It's really not user-friendly. It must be because you're Scottish. It's not user-friendly. Carson. Oceans apart, worlds apart. Let's see. Nothing for you here. Talking about some of this. Giovanni Prince says, I think you can get it on Steam for like $250 on sale. Again, like I say, it's pretty pricey if you find a Humble Bundle. It's been available on Humble Bundle sometimes for really cheap. Tailed Feature. I couldn't pronounce that to save my life. Shotgu Lear Boomer. Whatever you say, Boomer. Is that what you're telling me? And okay, last comment. Ryan Rawlings. So Scribelight Chocolate 520 is her Twitter. Protected, 56 followers, such an influencer. She has her standards for the community, and that precludes everyone who is different from her. I don't look upon somebody's social value as their Twitter following or something. I don't know anything about the lady. As I've said before, and I will say until the end of time, argue the point and not the person. Unless they make themselves part of their argument, argue the point and not the person. She injected her own personal anecdotes into this, so that's fair game. Outside of that, couldn't say. I'm still going to look up her role-playing system because I'm curious now. But elsewise, yeah. Tailed Feature says pretty much. All right, well, I can context clues. I might not be a fluent Gallic speaker. I can still use context clues. But with that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Apologies for the moments of silence at the beginning. I will see if I can edit that out after this is completely rendered to YouTube, so future people coming into this aren't confused. At the very worst, I'll put a big note on it saying, hey, skip over the first minute, or here's the time mark for when I actually start doing the stream. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for coming out and joining me on this one. This was quite the brain burner. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though, my audience is the best and the most participatory I could ask for. Thank you so much. Everyone who donated, holy cow, thank you so much for your generosity. You don't know how much I appreciate it, especially in this, confined time we find ourselves in. Please look forward to tonight on Satsu's channel at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for Lords of the Night. I'll be there talking about the news and God knows what else. And the next one of these will probably be Wednesday. I've got some options. I'll have to wait and see. But again, thank you guys for coming out today. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Hope you guys have a good rest of your Monday. I will try to learn how to articulate my sentences between now and next time. So long, everyone. Take care.